Alright, so we are back with more Everlasting Summer after a few days. The last time I put up a part, anyway. But I figured to come back instead of going all the way to the weekend like I did the last time. So, because I want to try to finish this out. But I've been working on some other stuff. Plus, you know, but we're pretty much winding down day 5 here. This is where things are going to get a little bit interesting when it comes to Ulyana here. So obviously I left off at a choice, so we're not going to be doing Alyssa and Lena this time around. So we're going to stay seated, but I do believe we're all supposed to stay seated one more time. Something's supposed to take place, and I'm not sure how this is going to play out. So all right, so here we go. All I was doing was just watching the fire. There is a saying that claims that one could watch it forever, as well as running water. But there was also some third thing there. What was that? One could watch three things forever: burning fire, running water, and how other people work. The camp leader pulled me out of my daydreaming. Simeon, don't you think that it's too early to relax? But what else would I need to do? Honestly, couldn't get whatever the region I really wanted to be. I don't know. She stopped for a moment. But if there is something to be done, then do it without hesitation. She smiled ambiguously and went back to the fire to throw a few branches on. After those words, I am completely sure that she treats me like a personal slave. Or at least like I'm a free labor force, which is strictly speaking the same thing. Yeah, yes. I sighed and put my head down on my hands. Hoping my torments would be over for today. Someone patted me on the shoulder. I do believe. Oh, wait. Oh, God. I looked up and saw a Shirk and Electronic who sat next to me. I'm going to skip this because this scene was kind of familiar when I did Slavia's thing, so. And these two don't really have any relevant stuff going on with them, so I'm just going to skip a little bit of these guys. Because after this, there should be some type of choice that's going to come up. Let's put that reaction now. Ulyana? Maybe I should apologize. Oh, okay, I forget here now. What this part is. The part where he's like chasing her or something. I can't remember what it was. And she was running. Something she had of his. I don't remember. No, it's not your fault. Was that solidly for a while? Then I stood up and said, my legs are numb. I better take a walk. They made no reply. I made a few circles around our improvised camp, noticing the close looks of the camp leader following me. Looks like Olga couldn't wait to come up with some kind of new task for me. I haven't found Slavia anywhere. Maybe I should go try to find her. On the other hand, I felt sorry for Ulyana every time I recalled her upset face. Maybe this hike isn't the most entertaining thing ever, but sitting there all alone isn't any better either. But at the same time, I didn't want to go anywhere. Well, obviously, this remains seated one, I think, um, has something to do more with a character that's not unlocked yet. If I'm not mistaken there. Slavia obviously did her first, so we're not going to do that this time. But I want to make a quick save so I don't necessarily have to come back here. Where the hell did I do it day 5? Okay, here we go. I almost could find the save for a damn minute there. So we're going to go with Ulyana here. I didn't think about Ulyana that evening at all. I made you think about her, so we're going to it then. That thing with the cake. Like it didn't even happen. Though I remember, well, her resentful, disappointed face. Maybe in some other situation I would have never decided to go to her. But now a fine reason to leave this place and end this stupid hike has appeared. Recalling that Olga told me to be prepared for new tasks, I decided not to ask for her permission, and after choosing a proper moment, I decided disappeared into the woods. Oh boy. Night fell on the camp. How's this gonna go? Because this is kind of a new scene. Ah, I mentally thanked the camp leader for not researching the land too well, since this meant civilization was only a few meters away. Another long walk through the night forest was not in my plans. Soon I came to the square and hesitated. Okay. Won't it look silly? What would I tell Ulyana? I have no idea. Moreover, why would I go to see her in the first place? You mentioned something about cake, didn't you? I don't know. My head was so heavy and full that there was no room in it for the development of any ideas. Unless if you're thinking of a different kind of cake. I don't know. You wanna go taste some of her cake there? Semyon? Don't ask where that came from, guys. I don't know. There's an old saying for somebody who, who's kind of a virgin and has never really had, done anything with anybody. It's like your cake has barely been touched. It's like nobody's ever really had any of yours. It's like, how did that happen? I don't know. Oh man, my brain can get me in trouble sometimes. I know. If I would compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of speed, thoughts overtaking each other, causing giant chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in the distant depths of the forest, which is only used in times of absolute necessity. Well, my brain goes all is like full on. I don't. It's like it goes up in the deep end sometimes. I don't know. Better not to think about anything and just act. Now, where should I go? Maybe to her cabin. What are you gonna be doing there? Why are you going to her cabin? Officer, it's not what you think. What if she's not there? All of a sudden, something knocked me down and I fell to the asphalt. Let me guess, it's gonna be her, ain't it? It's a good thing I had to stretch out my arms, otherwise I would have hooked my nose. Gotcha. I figured. I already knew who it was. He fell down though. That's kind of funny. I quickly got up from the ground and saw Yana standing before me. But how did he fall? Did she just like, I don't know, just kind of give him a whack and he just kind of fell? I don't know. What are you doing? I couldn't stop myself from shouting despite my best efforts. Shouting? You should be stargazing. Stargazing. I don't know if that's what he was doing. His brain, I doubt he was probably doing that, but who knows? Stargazing. She answered viciously. What if I had smashed my nose or had broken my arm? I want to know what happened here. It's like all I got out of that was he just crashed and fell on the ground. What I want to know. Although, well, she did kind of come behind him. Then maybe she just kind of surprised him. I don't know. But how are you gonna fall face forward though? That's what I don't get. I said more calmly. You being distracted is like, okay, yeah, you can get startled by somebody, but are you really gonna fall face forward though? I don't know. I don't see how that's gonna happen. Well, neither of those happen. Look, why do you always mock me? I already regret my decision to try and ease her loneliness. Was today's punishment not enough for you? Could you even draw simple conclusions? It's entirely your fault. The smallest the other's face. His fault? What exactly is my fault? Everything. You mean I am to blame all the time? Yes. She crossed her hands in front of her chest and turned away. I want to know where this is going. Great. It's like, no, you're the one who's at fault. No, it's you. No, you did something. It's like, can we just rewind a little bit back here? It's like, weren't you the one that's trying to jump into cake back there, or are you even thinking of something else entirely? I have no idea. You know, this guy. Sometimes Semi is right though. Sometimes he's not always right though. So I guess it kind of varies on that. Uh, you know, I suddenly wanted to get away from this place as fast as possible. I do recall there's supposed to be some choice that's going to be coming up here. I don't know what choice is, but there's one of them has to do with blame. I don't know. And apparently, the choice you're supposed to pick has to do with putting the blame on yourself. I don't remember if that's the right way to go about it or not. I'll have to see when that comes up. What? I guess you were quite bored, given that everybody is hiking and you are alone here. I don't care. She yelled cheerfully. Well, if things are that way, what do you want to do? What do you mean? Well, you came here because of me. Such a thought hadn't occurred to me. Well, you did kinda. I mean, well, I more or less made the choice to put you on this path. You did kind of think of it though. Like when he was sitting there, a few things came to his mind, and then I just, just put it up on the choice path. That's it. But he was already kind of thinking of her without actually realizing he was doing so. I catch this a lot, like with certain points and certain routes. And I played 3 of them so far. And when it gets to a certain point, depending on whose route you're on, I do notice that when he'll actually think of the person without actually realizing he's doing so. Slaviev, surprisingly, he started thinking of her early on without realizing he was doing it. Like, he found himself attracted to her, but it was more like, but he didn't really know much about her at the time when he was, pursuing her. It was more or less, okay, why am I coming around this girl? Why am I doing this or that? Alyssa was a little bit different. It was like, with her, it's more like he was trying to figure out why she was so angry and, all these other things. And eventually, he started coming around to her. Ulyana here is kind of similar in that regard. Like, early on, he couldn't figure her out, right? I mentioned how, like, there's no way he's going to be able to get this character at all. And, no, to be fair, too, she doesn't exactly, the way that she is, she doesn't exactly come across like somebody could read her easily, like other people, like you get with some of these other characters in the game. Um, you know, the only other one I would say you could make some sort of a case for, somewhat in terms of like a humorous kind of personality, is Miku a little bit, but Miku is different too, though. Like, the way that Semya goes about Miku is completely different than the way he goes about Ulyana here. But she's the only one I could kind of make a somewhat of a comparison to, because they what they both have in common is the way that they go about things. It's just at a different, Miku has her way of doing things, and then Ulyana has hers, and then that's just it. So but the similarity on Semya's part is that he doesn't really get either one of them. It's like, okay, with Miku, it's more like, oh boy, I gotta deal with this girl right now. I don't want anything to do with, I don't want to be around you, because he does that a lot, right? With Ulyana, when he gets around her, it's more like, why am I around this girl? I don't really get, it's like, are you really this, this much of a bonehead? So I don't know. She does everything, right? And he gets confused about her because she only shows one side of her personality. It's one of the reasons why I didn't really get into this route as much as I've done with some of the others. Because, with her, she doesn't really change too much in her personality. Alyssa, went through multiple personality changes. And that's a good thing, because you kind of need that to have a nice little balance to go with the route. If you're just one way, it's kind of hard to get into the character a little bit. Not that there's anything wrong with having a funny character, but you need to have a little bit of a balance with that character once in a while, and not that much with her. You really see that very often. After such a greeting, I no longer want to do anything. Then it's up to me to choose, said Ulyana cheerfully and started to think. I stared at her for some time, but then couldn't stand it. Listen, if you are again planning to, I know. Let's scare the others. We'll dress up as ghosts, for example. It's gonna be so fun. Oh god, dress up. This could actually be, I don't know, something that would be kind of interesting if it turns out to be good, but I don't know, the way Sebi might go about this, I don't know. If she did it on her own, I could see her doing something like that. Him with her, I would think this scene would probably get ruined somehow, but who knows on that one though. But that'd be kind of funny to see that if they actually do this. I didn't find this funny in any way. I mean, I do. I think it would be kind of funny. A few of them would, you would feel bad afterwards that you had to go around and scare them. But I just think some of them would be kind of deserve it though. Olga, I like to see how Alyssa's reaction would be. I wonder if you could scare Miku though. That'd be something. I would think it'd be the other way around. She'd be more like the type that would scare you. I could just see her playing the trick in reverse on somebody. I don't know. Lena, it's like I would kind of feel bad. Somebody had to sneak up on her, just kind of scare her. Because the way she is. Slavia, I don't know if it would really have it. It might. You never know with her. She doesn't really seem to let anything bother her too much. But then again, when we came to the abandoned camp the first time around, she was kind of freaked out a little bit. So I don't know. Enough of that already. I began tiredly, but broke off. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. After all, by the time she thinks it over and gathers all she needs, Olga and the pioneers will already be back. If I came here because of Ulyana, then I need to play along. Perhaps you're right. What? She was looking at me with her eyes wide open. Are you gonna agree just like that? Well, what's so wrong about that? And furthermore, if you insist. She studied me tentatively for several seconds and then rattled off. Excellent. Then we need some bed sheets. We want to look like real ghosts, don't we? Bed sheets. So you guys are gonna go through with this. Is this gonna get somewhere? Bed sheets. I don't know. Like, I kind of think of something else. Like, could you come up with something different to use for a ghost idea? I don't know. It just sounds kind of corny now, the way that this is sounding. I don't know. Probably. You go get them. Oh, boy. Ulyana announced imperiously. Where do you think I'm gonna go to get them? Take them from your cabin, obviously. I don't know how that would look. Him coming to his cabin with blankets and going to, I don't know. What's he gonna say? It's like, where you going with this stuff? I'm going to Ulyana's. Where are you going with that? That's where, yeah, just think of that, it's like, can you imagine, Olga catches him, right? Like, I don't know. He goes back to his cabin and gets blankets and it's like, where you going with that stuff? I'd keep quiet on where I'm going though, but knowing him, he would say where he's probably going to get him in trouble. It wasn't that obvious to me. So you don't want to. She instantly made a gloomy face. Okay. I recalled the fact that there were spare sets of bed linen in Olga Dimitrinov's wardrobe, so maybe there was nothing to worry about. Yeah, you're going into her section and getting anything there would probably be a no-no. I would not really do anything with her stuff, But then again, if he grabs his, he might get in trouble too, though, because then she'll notice that it's gone. I don't know. We approached the camp leader's cabin, and I said to Ulyana, wait for me here. Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. I mean, I said that backwards. She ran it off and saluted me. It seemed Ulyana was entirely immersed in the game. Oh boy. I quickly found two clean white bed sheets. It's a shame they're gonna get smudged. But whose are you grabbing though? I wanna know. He probably did take hers, didn't he? She's gonna come back and notice that it's gone though. Here, take it. I handed one of the bed sheets to her. It's too large for me, Ayada said after twirling it in her hands. No wonder, considering her height. How big are these sheets exactly? I mean, well, but then again, okay. Give it to me. I folded the bed sheet in half and gave it back to her. You know, you could well, cutting it would probably be a bad idea. But you could always, I was going to say, do something to make it a little bit shorter for this character. I don't know. Or you could take part of it and make sleeves out of it. Like a part where it's like that maybe a little bit too big kind of thing, right? The rest of it, I would say, you know what? Just let it drag. I mean, are you really going to step on it? You might. I don't know. It's much better now. Follow me. She put the white cloth over her head and ran into the forest. Wait, I'd like to see a picture of what they look like with these sheets on them, though. I think it'd be kind of funny, though. I threw myself after her. Threw yourself? Ah. And this is, where are the sheets? I'm, you know. So, okay, what do we have here? I can't really make out if these are any of the people that we have. That's our characters. I'm gonna guess they probably aren't though, because none of them really resemble any of the characters in our group. In this camp anyway, main characters anyway. Just a few minutes later, we were near the pioneers' campfire, hiding behind the trees. Unless if this guy over here, kind of maybe a shirk, I'm not sure. Now it was clear that the trick, harmless at first, was making an unpleasant twist. For some reason, I was sure from the start that the hike would end before Ulyana took any actions. And now we were standing 10 meters away from the pioneers dressed in bed sheets. We didn't look frightened at all. Rather, we looked comical. Get ready. On my command. Oh, buddy. Wait. Actually, I was joking when I agreed to all this. Of course you were. You weren't really serious from the get-go. Think again. It won't do any good. You will get yourself put under house arrest until the end of the ship. And so will I. No retreat. No surrender. Are you ready? On the count of three. This girl has no quit in her. I started scrolling through all the possible outcomes in my head feverishly. I mean, when you think about it, you guys already went this far with it. Might as well continue. What's the harm gonna come? Like, you're just having a little bit of fun. I mean, they are always talking about doing something. Olga says certain things, right? How much trouble can you really get from just a little bit of scare? I mean, maybe you might get slightly yelled at. Okay, you can't exactly ground somebody because, I don't know, you're having a little bit of fun here. I don't really see the harm in it. People do this a lot, right? You know, do these type of pranks sometimes. I don't know. They're usually a little, I don't know if people think this quite cheesy with the idea of doing it, but still, it's the idea of doing something, right? He wasn't doing anything previously, and then after he came all the way here, now he's got something to do. I don't know. There weren't many of them. First one, me and Ulyana ran out from behind the trees and start the pioneers laughing. Resulted in me getting considerable scolding from the camp leader, and possibly something even worse. And Ulyana is sentenced to the highest measure of punishment feasible under the laws of the pioneer camp. See, this is the problem that I would have if they did something like this, because Olga, you can't lock somebody up because what? Because they came out and decided to do a little prank scare on you. That's not really right. I don't know about that one. Second one, I stay here and observe what the others, how Ulyana runs around the glade with a bedsheet. There's a difference between yelling. Okay, it's like, okay, yeah, you might scream at the heat of the moment, but what are you gonna do after that? There's nothing you could do. Just move on. It's like, hey, don't scare me. I don't want to be scared anymore. Just let's not do that. It's like everybody's, well, this is what I had in mind. This is what we're gonna be doing. You didn't tell me. You said when he was just sitting there, you said, what is he gonna be doing? And he didn't really know what to do, right? All the way up until this point, he's actually doing something now. I don't know. Okay. Third one, I do everything possible to prevent her from committing this act of moral vandalism, and no one suffers but her self-esteem. Oh boy. It all could have gone so well, but out of those thoughts, took more than 3 seconds or Ulyana shortened the count, so I had managed to put my. Ah, come on, phone. Stop. Together in time when she sprang out into the glade, screaming inhumanly. Wow. I thought maybe her arms would be kind of out. In this case, she just, I don't know, she just came out. And yeah, maybe this character here with this hair, maybe that could be Slavia. I'm gonna guess it isn't. They're, but it's hard to say. Sometimes they just make random characters. Because you, I'm pretty sure we all see more than one character in this camp when we're in the cafeteria, right? But they're not really main characters, so they're just people in the background, right? They never really have a major role in the plot, so maybe that's who they're scaring here. I don't know. But this one person on the ground has long hair, a little bit like Slavia, though. But obviously, it wouldn't really necessarily be her because she doesn't have like this type of hair over here. But usually, it's kind of like that, right? I don't know. Either way, this is kind of an interesting scene. I'm kind of liking this a little bit. Yeah, it's a little corny, but finally something after all this time. There wasn't anything in Ulyana's route that I was finding that much of an interest. Up until this point, this is the kind of stuff that I want to see. Them use something with this character. Like, they rarely ever did anything. The only other time there was something a little bit humorous is when he chased her the one time and then ended up on top of her somehow, and then she gets that conversation which led to her giving him some type of candy. And that was it. So all that time, nothing was a lot of random stuff was happening in the routes until this here. So it's kind of interesting. Oh man. Oh. As expected, all the pioneers laughed loudly. Somebody even fell from the log he was sitting on and started rolling on the ground. So they're just more or less laughing. They don't look like they're laughing. This poor guy, like, I don't know, this person with this face is kind of like, are you really trying to scare us? It's like, or I'm just, I don't know. It's like, it's somebody who's just kind of bored, just the way I'm looking at this character's face, I don't know. The others look like they kind of were scared a little bit, but this guy looks like he's just kind of, I don't know, just kind of looking. No. I try to say today Ulyana as loud as possible so Ulyana would hear me, but not the others. That probably would be me, because I'd be the type that this stuff, what this idea with the sheep wouldn't really work on me. But I don't know. It'd be kind of funny to see if other people would run from this. I don't know. Well, stop it. Come here. Oh wow! What in the world? I don't know whether it was my persuasion that worked or Ulyana understood that her performance had failed, but she ran in my direction quickly and without pausing, hid herself in the forest. I didn't hesitate to follow her. Well, boy. Such a final left tiny chance that she won't be punished again. It's good that I didn't join her in on that trigonomical comical act. Now, I need to find Ulyana. It turned out to be not that hard, as she had managed to get far. Oh boy. Ulyana was sitting on a tree stump, crying. Oh boy. I stood still, hesitating. Of course, such an outcome was to be expected, but now I had absolutely no idea what to do or how to comfort her. And besides, I'd gone back to the camp intentionally, and I had agreed to participate in that show. But it just got worse. As well as that, I was tired unto death. At that moment, I wished it would all just cease to exist. I just wanted to close my eyes and appear elsewhere, preferably in a quiet and peaceful place. But the slight sight of the sobbing Ulyana obliged me to take action. I walked up to her and sat down on the ground. Well, what were you expecting anyway? I began philosophically. It was sure to end up this way. You're to blame for everything. You. Good Lord. Ayana shouted in tears. So, what would have changed if I had sprung out with you back there? Would both would have we both would have been laughed at, that's all. You always act this way. Always. Her sobbing was becoming louder and louder, and then she suddenly rushed at me and started pounding on my chest with her fist. The hits were not hard. It was more like an attempt to take out the despair that had gripped Ulyana, that a real wish to beat me up. Calm down already, I said firmly. She stopped crying for a second and hugged me. Maybe nothing would have changed, but it would have been more comfortable for me if we went together. I didn't know what to say, so I just patted her on the head. Can I stay like this for a bit longer? Yes. At that time, she didn't seem like a dangerously explosive nuclear reactor in the form of a little girl, but just like a little sister of mine who'd mess things up. Ah, this dialogue just don't sound right here, the way you're describing here. I don't know. It just sounds awkward. Just keep in mind, Semyon, I'm the one that's trying to do a route here, and you're talking about sister type, stuff here. I don't want to hear that. I wasn't mad at her at all. On the contrary, it seemed I too was beginning to care about the failure of the ghost play acting. Although, in some cases, yeah, I guess you could kind of look at Ulyana as that type of character. Type you kind of want to look after, somewhat, but not really. It's alright, it's alright. We'll scare them probably next time. Yeah. Oh boy. Wow, that's kind of an interesting scene. And she literally is in his lap. That's kind of funny. I don't know for how much longer we sat in silence. Ulyana stopped crying and I didn't want to disturb her, as she had just calmed down. But I also had absolutely no desire to stay in the forest overnight. Hey, let's get back to the camp. I shook her shoulder gently, but there was no answer. Of course there was. Ulyana had fallen asleep. Hey. I shook her harder. No effect. This is like the second time that this happened, because, did she do this the first time around where she just fell asleep with him at the library? I don't know how that happened, but it's the one time that they did. When he was trying to hide from Olga, I think. At that moment, I wanted to cry. Why does this always happen to me? Why do I get caught up in these foolish situations? Always and everywhere. What do you mean? I don't know. She's the one that, came up to you. It's not really that big a deal, is it? Even having suddenly appeared at a weird pioneer camp in the middle of nowhere, I don't get to become a subject in an experiment, a victim of a sick cosmic mind, or a participant in an intergalactic war on the side of a group suicide-prone pacifist like a regular hero of science fiction. This guy is mine, I tell you. I don't know. I'm probably one of those people out there that don't think of movies or anything like that when it goes on with me. I don't know. It's kind of weird like that. Now instead I have to spend the night in a forest with a little girl in my arms who is muffled with a bed sheet. I don't see a bed sheet. I see her out of one. Next time I'd rather have the monstrous experiments. I stood up and put the sleeping Ulyana on my back. Maybe there was a way to wake her up, but firstly, I didn't want to. Secondly, one more bird to one less. At that point, it made no difference. It's good that she's not heavy. At the square, I stopped, put Ulyana on a bench, and threw myself down beside her, totally exhausted. Even a little girl is hard to carry for too long. The stars in the sky were shining brightly. Perhaps they give their light not only to me in this camp, but also shine on the city where I was born and where my old home is. It was as if a pain settled in my chest. Okay. I envisioned my old flat clearly, and a detestable burning started to make its way from my stomach to my throat. Ah, no, it was not wistfulness, more like a sad reminiscence. Despite, because despite all that's happened, I felt more alive in the less than 5 days here than I had for the last several years there. And now I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get back. You do. Only one question still ate at me. How and why I ended up here. It flared up yet again in my mind. I haven't spent much time seeking answers or even just thinking about my situation lately. My thoughts were occupied with everyday routine affairs. And now, in order to break away and be able to wish to stay here for good, I need to understand the nature of this place. It's just that even a nightingale in a golden cage has a right to know how and by whose will he got in there. And after that, to make the choice whether to stay or not. I don't know how much longer I would have been devoted to existential thoughts, but Ulyana's loud snoring brought me back to reality. So small, but she snored so loudly. I sighed, put Ulyana on my back again, and headed to her cabin. How's this gonna go? I had no desire to explain everything to Alyssa, so I just put the sleeping Ulyana on the porch, knocked on the door, and left quickly. Ah, approached Olga's cabins with mixed feelings. On the one hand, I had done what I intended to do. I had comforted and entertained Ulyana. On the other hand, the two crumpled bed sheets in my hands looked more like rags left over for some worn-out straitjacket. Opened the door softly and went in. Oh boy, is she gonna be there? Yep, Semyon. Olga was sitting at the desk, and it seemed she had been waiting for me. Of course she was. Do you want to explain something to me? Well, just don't scold her again. It's my fault. Oh, just like that, I became a hero, to my own surprise. Good lord. So he actually did the choice on his own. I thought maybe I would get a choice on that. My tongue acted faster than my thoughts. But maybe there's another choice that I'm thinking of. It hasn't come up yet. I don't know. Perhaps some of my best traits, which even I wasn't aware of, have shown themselves. Humanity as opposed to common sense. Really? And instead of this, I chose to stick to my decision. Well, it was me who got the bed sheets, and I was standing behind a tree back then. Behind what tree? The camp leader looked at me in astonishment. So what did you need bed sheets for? I realized my mistake. So you were not talking about the forest thing? Semyon, I don't understand you. I wanted to know when you disappeared to so mysteriously during the hike. But now I would be interested in listening to your bedsheet story. But it was impossible that she and all the others hadn't seen Ulyana's performance. The pioneers laughing out loud couldn't have been my only imagination. Olga, I'm serious. Didn't you see someone in the bedsheets bring out at you recently? So it was you. Oh, I did not assume that she was among those people. I kind of assumed she wouldn't be among them, but maybe she was. Who knows? She gave me a close look. No, it wasn't me. Couldn't she just tell from my height? No. But you're holding the bed sheets. Yes. I could understand if she was playing me for a fool or she really didn't know what this was all about. Okay, to meet you now, but let's act like this conversation never happened. I'm too tired for today. Alright, go to bed. To my surprise, she readily agreed. Of course, I was astonished by such a reaction, but I decided to use the moment. I wrapped the blanket around myself and turned to face the wall. But I couldn't sleep. There were no thoughts, my head was aching, but I still couldn't manage to fall asleep. I rolled to the other side and managed images of the day started to flash before my eyes. I think this is shut my eyes to try to drive them away, but it didn't work. I think this is where day 6 is going to be coming, but I could be wrong. Suddenly, I heard a knocking at the window. Oh boy, where's this going? Seemed to be asleep. I'm going to make a quick save here and come back, see where this is going to go.